Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where in the world you join us from today. Welcome to our webinar, Taming IT Chaos by Leveraging Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning. My name is Kyle Banaz. I'm the Director of Marketing at Netrio, and I'm joined today by Dr. Xin Han, Vice President of Product Development at Netrio, who will be taking us through our topic today. Again, Taming IT Chaos by Leveraging Advanced Machine Learning and Artificial Intelligence. Before we get started, I'd like to launch a poll for the audience and cover some quick housekeeping items. So launching this poll. So where do you stand with your adoption of AIOps today? So a few items for housekeeping. Everyone is in listen only mode, but we encourage you to ask questions using the questions box on your GoToWebinar control panel. I'll be keeping an eye on incoming questions and try to get them answered for you in real time. Additionally, all registrants and attendees will receive a recording of the webinar, so please feel free to share with your colleagues. Along with the recording, all attendees will receive a link to a Google form if you wish to accept your Yeti tumbler, or for international attendees, a gift card. Please submit your preferred shipping address using that form. So I'm going to close the poll now. With that, let's take a look at the results. So not a whole lot of adoption or implementation. A lot of people saying, what is AIOps? And a few of us saying we're considering implementing AIOps. So definitely interesting there. Okay, so now for today's topic, information technology, IT, like many other industries, is tapping into the latest advancements in machine learning and artificial intelligence to solve a decades-old problem in the IT management world. Netrio believes there's a systematic way to design and implement AIOps. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Xin. Xin, take it away.
Thanks, Kyle, for having me today. It's great to meet all of you today. So first, I would like to introduce myself a little bit. I've noticed many of you here are network engineers. Actually, I was one of you also. I was trained as an engineer and started my career as a network engineer in Silicon Valley. Then I moved to product management at eBay and Amazon, AWS specifically. And I have been starting working with e-commerce company, started and sold some small e-commerce company as well. So I have worked with large corporations and rapidly grow startups as well. Today, I lead product management at Netrio, and I'm looking forward to sharing some of our perspective on how AIOps can solve real IT problems. And today, and according to the survey, many of the people are still very confusing about what is AIOps. So let's first demystify what is AIOps, and then we'll get an understanding of how AIOps can solve real IT management problems there. Then I would like to introduce new Netrio implementation methodology, which we call DAPA, and that stands for Distill, Analyze, Predict, and Act. I will also give you some example of how Netrio implements AIOps. Per Gartner's definition, AIOps is a tool used to leverage big data and machine learning to solve IT problems. It's a combination of big data technologies and machine learning and address the ever-growing complexity in the IT management fields. Many people feel that machine intelligence eventually will replace human intelligence. Personally, I don't feel that way. I believe that machine intelligence and human intelligence are equally important. The idea is not to have one to displace the other one. Rather, the idea is to leverage machine intelligence to augment human capabilities. Human experience and the best practice in the IT management area are still very important. That's my personal opinion. And then let's first take a look of modern IT environment. And on the left side, this is the illustration of modern IT environment. Every day there are new devices, new protocols, and new infrastructures, such as virtualization, and today container-based technology become more and more popular. On the other hand, this technology on the one hand, these technologies make the IT development much easier and faster. On the other hand, it makes IT monitoring more complicated than ever before. A simple device failure can easily trigger 10 times of alerts from adjacent devices and hundreds of times of alerts from different services failure and enormous application level alarms. And then let's take a look of some real data statistics from some Cisco white paper. And you can see here, while we're evolving to a fully virtualized environment and all digital business, events or metrics of a typical business can be easily on the billionaire or on the billions or trillions level. That amount of the data is way beyond that human can follow or digest. And that is where machine intelligence can come into the rescue. And in the IT management area, it comes in the form of AIOps. In the Netrio, we believe there's a systematic way to implement AIOps. The methodology we use is called DAPA, which stands for Distill, Analyze, Predict, and Act. First, all the data, alarm or event that can be filtered with the noise reduction technology to get rid of the majority of less useful information. And the remaining events can be evaluated by associating each with a weight to indicate whether it's important or not. Then the next step will be to analyze this remaining event, and many of these events will be associated together based on their time, the location, and many other metadata information. Further, we can do some analysis to find the root cause of a group of alerts and even try to predict what can happen next. Of course, the ultimate dream of IT operation is a fully automated operation. In this case, possible solution will be able to quickly represent it to the operators and execute it automatically upon your conversation.
So, Sin, I have a question here.
Sure.
So actually the first is, I'll answer that one at the end, but the quick question is, how is our approach to AIOps different from the other AIOps vendors out there in the space?
Sure, this is a very challenging question. Pretty much every IT monitoring vendors right now claim they have certain capability of AIOps, and obviously this is a cross-discipline of machine learning and big data. And then, to be honest, most of the AIOps features right now in most of the vendors, there's the extension of some big data analytics capabilities there. And here in the Netrio, we're building end-to-end AIOps capability from Distill, from analyze to all the way to the playbook automation. And all this technology is very domain centric, is specialized for IT management area. So I think that's the big differentiation Netrio have versus other vendors.
Okay, thanks, Sin. So another question. So while we know this is conceptual, the idea of AIOps, do you have any real-time case studies of how our methodology is being used?
Yeah, sure. That naturally switch us to the next page. And then this is the real example. We newly introduced the feature called the AI, called the Netrio Autopilot. And this function actually will work with historical data and scan all this historical data, trying to find useful insights or any anomalies that need more attention here. And you can take a look of, this is a real screenshot. On the upper side, there's you will see a summary result of the steps: observe, analyze, and act. Observe will tell you how many devices has been scanned and how many findings has been discovered. And analyze tell you how many issues has been discovered, but many of them need human intervention to fix. And act will just tell you how many issues has been fixed automatically. And on the lower side, there'll be also a lot of findings broken down by different modules there. For example, like baseline checking, best practice, data collectors, environment integration, and also solution setup.
Okay, so Sin, another question here. Can you give us a real concrete example of AIOps use cases?
Yeah, sure. So for example, over here, we have baseline modules here, which is we check all the benchmark settings there, threshold settings there, and check whether those threshold setting is correct or not. And also we have a lot of best practice, like all the devices need to have organization tags here, and then you should use the right device template, this type of thing. That can be very useful for the organization to check their IT environment. Maybe we can switch to the next page, and I'll give you some real examples here. And then this is a real customer example there. There's the IT operator of the company realized that there's hundreds of the false alarms every day, and they have been annoyed about all the alarm and without knowing what is the root cause. And then when they upgrade to the Autopilot feature, and with one-time scanning, they figure out that there's some misconfiguration, not just on the threshold side, but also some misuse of the device template, set the threshold incorrectly on some of the device. And then they gradually fix all this one, and eventually they can achieve 70% of the suppress of false alarm every day. This is the real, statistic we get from a real customer.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, Sin.
Thanks.
Next slide.
Yeah, sure.
All righty.
Yeah. And Kyle, this is the setting for the autopilot features there. As you ask, there's so many features, so many different modules here, and they organized by categories there. There's baseline, there's best practice, and then I intentionally expand the best practice. You can see here, there's some auto configuration rule mismatch. There can be device template status. It will check whether you use the right template or not. And also there's a lot more in data collection, in environment integration, and also solution setups over here. And then IT operators can check all these modules there and select which one are relevant to your organization and apply them. And also this back to Kyle, your previous question, how Netrio differentiate from other vendors here. We believe the autopilot is only the first step towards a full automation. And also behind the scene, Netrio is also building an end-to-end AI capability from data integration, from data cleaning and training, and all the way to model deployment, focusing on IT management area. Some of this capability potentially can be open to our customer in the future to help them to build or refine their own AI ops capabilities. And here, I would like to give you a very high level overview about our future roadmap. Autopilot, as I said, is only the first step by leveraging historical data. And the data pipeline is the next step to try to ingest more data into Netrio product, and it helps to train and refine all the AI models there. Copilot is designed to have a real-time scanning capability. Autopilot, as we know already, and is mostly focused on historical data scanning, but Copilot can scan the data, discover issues in a real-time manner, and allow IT operations to take very preventive measures to deal with IT issues there. Command and control brings about playbook automation, which is the ultimate dream of machine learning driven discovery and self-mediation. All these AI ops components enhance Netrio's capability today, and it will continue to drive towards our focus on enabling Netrio's mission to make IT management simpler and easier. And given that said, Kyle, this is all my sharing today, and I'm certainly looking forward to giving more update on the progress throughout the year and to get more feedback from all of you today, our community, and as we roll out all this new capabilities here. And then thanks again for having the opportunity to have me today over here. And then I hand over back to you, Kyle.
Awesome, Sin. Thank you so much for that. So I know that was quite a bit of information in a short amount of time. So I encourage everyone to ask questions using the questions box of your GoToWebinar control panel. I also noticed that many of you are non-customers. So for those of you unfamiliar with us, Founded in 2000, Netrio has been in the full stack monitoring business for 20 years now. I know we talked a lot about AIOps there, but Netrio is a full stack monitoring and AIOps company. So we work with thousands of customers across all industries, including finance, manufacturing, retail, aerospace and transportation, healthcare, and emergency services, helping them monitor and manage their mission critical IT infrastructure every day. So the Netrio platform, it's also backed by several patents and multiple awards, including most recently the high performer recognition on the enterprise monitoring, network monitoring, and IT alerting G2 Crowd Grid reports. Additionally, we've won Network Computing's Monitoring Product of the Year for 4 straight years, and Netrio has been included on Inc. 5000's fastest growing companies list for 4 straight years. So with that, I'm going to open up the floor for questions. And while we do that, I'm going to open up a poll for everyone. So while we wait for those to come in, going to launch that poll. Okay, so the first question is from Rich in the audience. I missed the statement about the Yeti at the beginning. Yes, so there is a form that will come out with the recording of the webinar. So we'll just need you to fill out that form with your preferred shipping address, and we will be sure to get that out to you. So thanks for that question. We also have another question. So Sin, this one's going to be for you. How do I get started on AIOps?
Yeah, I'm glad to take this question. So as I mentioned in the presentation, Autopilot is the very first step for the AIOps. So assuming if you are the Netrio customers, you will be able to purchase this add-on on the product, Netrio product. And this Autopilot will start scanning all your historical IT data there and give you a lot of findings on misconfiguration, misuse of the template, and many other modules there. We keep rolling more best practice and some checking templates into these features there. That can be a very first step you can add, you can tap into AIOps.
Okay, so we have another question here that it says, so you mentioned that Netrio has quite a bit of baseline data and templates that they're working on. So it's about how long have you been working on this data and baselines?
I cannot see exactly how long we have been working on this one. At least we have been starting all the investigation and the feature development a year before. And then Netrio has been in the IT management for more than a decade. So we accumulate a lot of historical data, of course, not without violence the privacy of our customers' data, but we does accumulate a lot of historical data, accumulate a lot of best practice from the industry, and then we would like to share this one and build those into our features, into our Autopilot product.
Yeah, and I'll take a stab at adding to that. So yeah, so it's really 20 years of baseline data that we're working with, and as mentioned, we've been working with customers in pretty much every industry you can imagine. And with that, we've been able to develop some best practice templates based on that baseline data for specific industries. So that's something that will come out of the box with AIOps Autopilot that you can be using right off the bat.
Yeah, that's very true. And also, one of the philosophy we believe in is to democratize the IT management knowledge. So we basically cross-reference the best practice and the best knowledge from different customers from different verticals there, which you actually not just tap into Netrio per se, you actually tap into a community which start sharing all their knowledge.
Awesome. Thank you, Sin. So I'm going to leave it open for a couple more minutes to see if we have any other questions. And while we wait for those questions, we do want to let you know that you can, if something does come up after the fact, if you need to reach us, you can reach us at info@netrio.com. You can also take Netrio for a free test drive. So you can access that on the website. There's a nice big button in the top right corner. It says free trial. So feel free to take Netrio for a spin. We've got a support team ready to help you along that journey. And then, oh, looks like we had another question come in. I'm not sure if this was asked, but what is a general amount of time for the Netrio AIOps integration to be implemented?
I can take this question, Kyle. So I would say it depends. So having the feature is really quick. So once you opt into this autopilot features there, it should be immediately available to you. And the next level question is how soon they can be effective. It will, I would say the question is depend on the amount of the data you have accumulate. If it's a new customer to the Netrio product, then it would maybe take some time for us to, accumulate data and start scanning all the configurations there and really have some meaningful findings for you. Typically, it won't take too long. I think just a very rough estimation. I think as long as you have a couple weeks to a couple months of the data, it should be very useful already. And also, as soon as you start using Netrio product, so we have the model out of the model ready, which has been trained by the other corporate or other accumulated data we have harvested through our journey. So that can be useful immediately for the company. So given that said, I think in short answer is it should be able to immediately be effective for you, and it will start release the power over the time of couple weeks, if it's not a couple months.
Yeah, and it really, with your Netrio deployment, it really just makes it get better and better over time. Would you say that's true, Sin?
That's absolutely true.
Awesome. All right, so I haven't seen any other questions come in, but I do want to leave it open, so we do have some more time. Please don't hesitate to ask. We're an open book here at Netrio, so we're happy to get those questions answered for you. All right, so it doesn't look like much more is coming in. So Sin, thank you so much for sharing today and everything you brought with your presentation. We had a great turnout, so thank you everybody for taking the time to join us today. We know it's a crazy world out there, so we appreciate all of you. We'll work on getting those Yetis shipped out as soon as we possibly can. So as I mentioned before, if anything comes up after the fact, please do not hesitate to reach out. We're here to answer any questions that you have. Feel free to take Netrio for a free test drive. And beyond that, thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.